And welcome to this edition of the Coach Derwin Wright Sports Show. Join me, Coach Derwin Wright, and Coach, a huge win on Friday night over a ranked opponent.
It was a great comeback, honestly, with what the way I said it, to tell of two halves. I think the first half we got outplayed, second half we outplayed them, but definitely a good win in a tough environment.
We'll take a look at that game, plus we'll look ahead to this week's huge region matchup with the Upperman Bays right after this.
For more than a century, Union Bank has been serving the people of Fentress County. Now, as we begin a new chapter in our history of service, we want to take this opportunity to reassure you that while our building may be new, we're still the same friendly people you have known for years. Union Bank, the same people, the same goals, and the same commitment to you. Union Bank, your locally owned hometown bank for more than a century, growing to meet your needs. Equal Housing Lender Member FDIC.
And back here, Coach Derwin Wright. And Coach, Oneida, the other night you came out, got behind early, but your boys just kept fighting.
Well, I told our guys all along that was a very solid AA football team. They're ranked for a reason. They've got the line, they've got skill players. Number 5 performed as I thought he would. He's a good running back, sees holes, and they came out and drove down. Defense bent, finally helped. They kicked the field goal. We took that drive and went down and scored, and then we had a couple back and forths, and they ended up scoring again, scoring before half to put them up 10-7. And like I told our guys halftime, hey, we just got punched in the mouth. We got to punch back. Game of very few possessions. Both teams were slow, taking time off the clock. So I said, we're going to get 3 or 4 possessions in the second half, and we got to make the most of them. And our guys did, and then hats off to our defense down on the goal line. We had a fumble on about the 5-yard line that could have been a disaster for us, and guys just stepped up on defense. We had a great play by Cole Cooper, one by Landry Lefevue on an open, just straight on tackle, and then Josiah come from the backside end and sacked the quarterback and put them in a fourth and about 10 or 11, they chose to kick a field goal, and the kid missed it, and right there's where we won the game.
Coach, it seemed like your offense just at one point was moving very well, and then you had that fourth down where Hicks tried to bounce it outside, and they were able to drop him, and they got a little bit of momentum.
Well, they did, and it was just a misread by Josiah, and that's a play that we like to turn up, but. He's trying to give great effort and thought he could bounce outside, but the inside play was there. And, at the time, I don't think he realized what we needed. It was a fourth and just very short. And but again, they did turn around on that one mistake, and they went down and scored. But we rode Cole Cooper in the second half too. I mean, we rode him, and he ran the ball physical for us, and. I'm just proud of our kids responding to the game and the way it started.
And, Coach, your defense, you mentioned the stop on the goal line, but they had a couple other big fourth down stops. They come up with some great plays.
We did. We had several, there in the second half, fourth down stops. We went in, like I said, it was 10-7. We win the game 21-10. So defense played outstanding the third and fourth quarter. We made some adjustments. We went to a 4-man line and actually took Cole Cooper and Josiah Headings and put them at defensive end, and said, be bookends, let's meet at the quarterback, and got some pressure on him, got him out of his rhythm, and then the 2 tackles inside and the 2 linebackers, Ben Cooper and Landry Lefevue and Thomas Cooper and Zach Strong and Bryce Slavin and Braden Wheeler. We were rotating some guys in there. Trying to keep fresh legs, and they did a good job stopping the inside stuff in the second half.
And, Coach, also you kept their passing game down. Your corners and your safety did an outstanding job.
They did. One thing that we did notice we got to work on, they were running some crossing routes on us, and instead of passing those guys in the zone, we were trying to lock on and run with them. And, honestly, if he'd had more time, they had some things that were opening up, but luckily we had enough pressure on him that they didn't get to see those.
Coach, the one bad thing, I guess, was a couple of fumbles.
Yeah, there were, and one of them, you never want to fumble. One of them a little bit bad technique carrying the ball, but the other one was just a situation where he's holding the ball correctly, and the only thing he did, he went to jump instead of cutting but the guy put his helmet right on the center of the football, and that's tough to hold on to anytime, but especially if you leave your feet. But I think he's going to learn from that. We went back to that young man afterwards, and he carried the ball 4 or 5 more times with us and got his confidence back. And it's bound to happen somewhere, but I hope that's the last ones.
Coach, your special teams, they had an excellent game.
Yeah, we did. There was a hold by Zach Holder, and a lot of people won't notice it, but if you watch the playback, that last extra point, that it was a low snap. Zach's literally falling down. He's sitting on his bottom when he puts it on the block for Johan to kick it. And Johan, he had to stagger and everything else, but it was great execution by those 2 young men.
Coach, a game like this where in times you trail quite a bit, that shows the character of these kids, and that's really something you needed. You've been pretty much blowing everybody out. Yeah,
we were trying to gripe at each other a little bit going in halftime, and we went in, we got that straightened out and said, hey, there's everybody out there's made mistakes. We just got to toughen up, tighten up, make some adjustments, and go out and out hit and out execute and play the game. And and that's what it come down to. I think we made the most of our possessions in that third quarter and was able to get back on top, 14-10, and then again had that great defensive stand down there off of a mistake that we made. And I think when they missed that one, that was pretty much the end of the game.
Any injuries from this one?
No, we as always, we got some people that have sore muscles and stuff like that. And, the guys at Peak Performance, they do a great job of treating our guys and helping them stay on the field. But, we've got Drake, Latham Drake's got a sore elbow. Landrick Leffew's a little sore. Cole Cooper, those guys are, they're going to be sore because they're just really throwing a lot of licks out there on the field. And, but nothing major, thank God.
Well, this week it's back to region action, and it's a huge one. We'll talk about that right after this.
For more than a century, Union Bank has been serving the people of Fentress County. Now, as we begin a new chapter in our history of service, we want to take this opportunity to reassure you that while our building may be new, we're still the same friendly people you have known for years. Union Bank, the same people, the same goals, and the same commitment to you. Union Bank, your locally owned hometown bank for more than a century, growing to meet your needs. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
And back here on the Coach Derwin Wright Sports Show. Coach, this week you got the Upperman Bees. A lot of folks saying this one could be for the #1 spot overall.
Well, 2 undefeated teams coming in, mid-season. We're 5-0. I think they're 6-0. We had the open week that they played, and it's a huge game for both teams. Huge region game. It should put one of us in the driver's seat on the region, and it's also just both teams should be hungry to stay undefeated. It's a game that a coach ought to be able to coach, and there shouldn't be much have to be said about being motivated for this football game by either coach. So. I know I got to know this coach last year when he was at Sequatchie, and he's a very good football coach. They're very fundamental. They make very few mistakes. They're more of a balanced attack would be the only difference I see in what he does and what I do. But they don't make mistakes to hurt themselves. They physical linebackers. They've got 3 linebackers that'll strike you, and we've got to get prepared and come out and put together a great game. And these are the games right here as a player and as a coach that I think this is why you play the games. You especially mid-season, you're sitting at a 5-0 record and you're playing a team with a 6-0 record. There's a lot of coming. You don't want to go around. I know there's a lot of trash talking on Coach T and all that already about this game. The game will be played on the field, and the team that out-hits and out-hustles and out-executes will win the football game.
Coach, what do you got to do to move it against Baxter?
Well, we have to do a great job in blocking. I think last year his scheme that he played us with Sequatchie really, really did a great job stopping our run game, and that's one thing that we've got to be able to do is when we do get situations where we need to throw, we've got to make better decisions, get that ball out quicker. But Big thing is to understand the way they're trying to play us and get our blocking assignments and make sure we're executing on all cylinders.
And Coach, turnovers can't happen this weekend.
No, neither team. You know, both teams are fundamental. Both teams are hard nosed. You know, and this is a team with a lot of speed. Number 5, their quarterback, probably their best running back. Number 24 is a great runner for them. You know, they use a little, what I call a little sniffer backs, a little fullback up between the guards. Good blocker. Kid's a good blocker. Number 4 is a good receiver. Number 2 is a good receiver. So they've got some weapons, and you know they're like us. They're not playing a whole lot of kids, but they've got some weapons. Number 63 is a pretty good guard for them. They'll flip flop him a lot to pull him, and you know so. It's one of those games where you just gotta do things right.
Coach, defensively, what do you got to do to stop them?
Well, to me, we definitely have to do a good job at our defensive end positions and linebacker positions, and then our dogs are outside linebackers. So they're going to be worked on. They're going to be put in situations, you know, with RPOs. Is it a run? Is it a pass? And they're going to have to make the right reads. But just play good fundamental football and do your job.
Coach, of any game, we've talked about it in every game, but of any game, this one, the special teams really got to come to play.
Absolutely, always huge in special teams. I think that, you know, in a game like this, there's usually 4 or 5 big plays in a game, and the team that gets 3 or 4 of them wins that game, and especially in this game. And another thing, you know, you got to limit penalties. You can't have dumb penalties. You know, you can't play 2 opponents that are where we're both at coming in. You've got to play smart football.
And, Coach, this is going to be your last road game of this season, the regular season, and that'll be good, too, to get through that road season.
Well, I like how that sounds. You know, 5 out of the first 6 on the road is whew. You know, so we played 1 at home and 4 on the road. So, you know, this will be our 6th game and our 5th one on the road. So we're ready for 4 at home. But you know, really to me, this is a game, the Smith County game from last year in my mind, because you know us and Smith County come in, and it was going to determine who was number 1 in the region. And actually, that's what happened. They ended up 1, we ended up 2. But you know, we're right there again. So, but it's with a squad or with Upperman team.
And you mentioned the region. This is a huge game because the one that ends up number 1 gets a lot of home field advantage when it comes to playoffs. But also, there's still a Sequatchie team looming out there for both of you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, not just Sequatchie, Cannon County's 3-3. They beat DeKalb pretty good Friday night. We actually have gotten some film on them, and you know, the top to bottom of the region is stronger than it was last year, much stronger. And you know, so I just think you know, we can't overlook anybody, and we just got to come and play and improve every week ourselves.
And, Coach, this one, like you said, will be a huge region contest because it'll probably decide who is the number 1 seed. And the number 1 seed, explain how important that is as far as playoff.
Well, it gives you the opportunity to know that as long as you're winning, you're hosting the first 3 games at home at your place. And you know, then there's a East and Middle, and then West and Middle change about on the 4th round. But you know, obviously that's huge. You guys have been following us a while. In 2007, we finished number 1, and we played 3 in a row here at home and made it to the 3rd round. Unfortunately, lost the 3rd round, but it's big. It's big. It's always a lot funner to play in a playoff game and let that other team drive that 2.5 hours. So, you know, it's big for us.
And, of course, if folks remember last year, it was 1 point away from not having to be at Red Bank for that 2nd round. You're
exactly right. Sure was. And, you know, and that was a tough place to play. And, you know, they're ranked, I think, number 2 or 3 right now in 3A. So, you know, but right now there's 1 game, and that's Upperman. And, you know, we've got to get ready for them, and they got an outstanding football team, and they're doing a lot of things right. So we're going to have to be ready to play, Gary.
And also, it's just a short hop to Baxter, so we want everybody down there.
We need everybody down there. I told our kids on Sunday when we watched film, this is one of those games that, this is what you work out and you run for and you prepare for, and the fans will be hanging off the lights. I mean, it's going to be a packed house.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for joining us, and best of luck Friday as you head to Baxter.
Thank you.
Well, the Dragons head to Upperman this Friday, and it's going to be for most likely the region championship, and they need you there. Be sure to turn out in force and support the Dragons. They take on Baxter, and that one gets underway at 7 o'clock. Till then, for 15104 Sports, I'm Gary Clark. See you at the game.